Hi, this is Heather Picken, host of the Fearless and Fabulous Female Masterclass. You're going to learn in 90 days or less how to take your business to the next level. You want to go to the next level, you've got to align your mind to your vision and you got to take action. So I want you to take notes, and I also want you to consider to upgrade to the Fearless and Fabulous bundle. What that is experts paid products given to you for only $97. This is important because it's supporting a cause called She Should Run. And that is about getting 250,000 women running for office by 2030. I want you to be a fearless woman. Stand in your power and know what you stand for. I hope you enjoy this masterclass. Well, hello everyone, and welcome to another masterclass on the Fearless and Fabulous Female Entrepreneur Summit. I am going to dive right into it with my next guest because I want to give you the most amazing information that you can actually do. You can implement these strategies in 90 days or less. All of our experts are giving you fast action, things that you can you don't have to wait until tomorrow to do it. And it doesn't have to take a long time in order for you to get results. So I want to welcome my next guest, Joie Gharrity. I've actually known her for a little while now. We actually met on Facebook. But for those that don't know about Joie, she's the founder of 113 Branding Digital Media Studio, and is a brand director, content producer, author, and international speaker. Now, this is a really interesting little tidbit about her. She worked in the Hollywood entertainment industry for over 15 years at top companies in the film industry, TV, original web content, and branded entertainment. She was handpicked by the ABC studio president to launch the first multimedia startup business for the Walt Disney Company. So this woman, she knows what she's talking about. After returning to the Bay Area, Joie was inspired to launch, and correct me, is it 113 or is it 113?
No, it's 113. It's 113.
Oh,
yeah.
great.
You were saying great, yeah.
And she integrates her strategic branding and content developing vision with both the creative and business sides of the entertainment industry. She works with entrepreneurs and Hollywood talent, both behind and in front of the camera. She has her book, The Red Carpet Guide to Visibility and Influence, and where she's sharing branding strategies, techniques, tools, and tips that can be implemented easily. And that's the key, easy, right? She recently was invited to sit on the DDI Branding / Reels and Links panel as the brand expert at the prestigious Directors Guild of America in Los Angeles, California. Shortly after, she launched 113 Branding Hollywood Director Division. She is passionate about being of service and working with both entrepreneurs and Hollywood directors, and to help them gain superstar visibility and influence in the marketplace. And when I hear superstar, I'm like, superstar.
Right.
We're having fun. Okay. Can we just all agree we're having fun? So Joie, thank you so much for being my expert here today on this masterclass.
Thank you for inviting me, Heather. I so appreciate you.
Yeah, and I appreciate your energy. You know, I love reaching out and collaborating with women like you that understand the importance of collaboration. And that's exactly what we're going to be talking about today. I think this is a gold mine, Joie, because today we're going to be talking about creating multiple streams of income with other influencers. So I think that is a really, really hot topic that a lot of women, need to know, because a lot of times they think they have to do it by themselves. Okay. So let's talk about that, because you have this whole thing about being a lone wolf. Like, you don't have to be a lone wolf in your business, right?
Yeah, actually, I don't want you to be a lone wolf. And so I'm just going to say it out there to everyone out there, like just kick the lone wolf to the curb, sisters and brothers.
Yeah.
It really is the fastest way to closing your doors, actually. You can't build an empire or that kind of earning power that you really need to sustain yourself by yourself. And I learned that in Hollywood. And people might think Hollywood's selfish, but Hollywood really taught me around teamwork. And studios, on a whole, studios make movies and television with other studios. They don't do it on their own. Can't afford it. You got to use each other's resources, right? But then everyone wins. Then everyone wins, right? You might not always get every studio might not love each other, but they certainly love the revenue that's coming through at the end of the day. So that's where I learned it from. But yeah, so let's kick the lone wolf to the curb.
I love that. Yeah, because a lot of times women think they have to do it by themselves, but you really don't.
Yeah.
So knowing that, having support will actually elevate your business and your brand. Okay, so the next thing that we want to talk about is really knowing who you are and identifying partners that have the strengths that you don't possess. I think that's really important. So where you could talk about that, like how do we build this relationship with people? How do we know what we're strong in, and how do we bring all those other key players?
Yeah, so knowing thyself is really important. But here's a side note in how to know who would be a great collaborator for you. If they're like you don't want to collaborate them. You don't want to bring in people that are mirrors of yourselves. And a lot of businesses or brands, you'll hear about this, the big ones even, when they bring in CEOs that fire entire like departments and then they replace them with everyone like themselves. What happens to the brand after a while? It doesn't work, right? You want people that are not like you. So I would really encourage people to go out there and be like, you know what, that person isn't anything like me. Maybe that would be someone that I should be collaborating with. But also, too, will get you out of your own backyard.
I love that. It makes a lot of sense. There's this saying in a relationship, if two people are the same, one is not necessary. So it's
it's the truth. Yeah, if you're dating yourself, it's going to implode at some point.
Yeah, I love this. So it's like you can collaborate with someone that is, different from you, offering, some of those strengths that maybe you don't have, and really build a relationship. So can you maybe, give us a couple of examples of things that you've done? Because I think that will really help women that are thinking, oh, that I really want to do this.
Sure. So I'm in 2 collaborations right now, and one of them, she is amazing at organizing and like really like down to details and I'm very creative. And so I went to her and I was just like, I implemented her system and I said, this works on a very large level. Let's bring it to the marketplace. I said, but here's my strength is I know how to spotlight. I know how to market. I know how to brag. I know how to get it out there. And guess what her weaknesses are? She's not good at talking about herself. She doesn't like to stay in the spotlight and she certainly doesn't like to brag. And I'm just like, but that's a key component to sales. So I really encourage people out there, women, to be like, okay, if you hate sales, which I hear this a lot and I don't know why, because I'm like, let's all just love sales because that's business. Yes. But that's okay. If you hate sales, you want to find someone like me or Heather, okay? Because we enjoy the process of sales, right? So that would be that's ended up being so great because she's been so good at the other stuff, which all those little details, which just bog me down.
Absolutely.
It's bogging me down, yeah. So it's been fun.
I love that. Yeah. I mean, when you think about, you got to really think about your business, like you're the CEO and you're working with all these, other employees or partners, or however you want to call it. And you got to get the right people in, so it goes back to using this model that you're talking about, leverage, creating something or bringing people in that maybe don't have the same, like have a slightly different skill set. Now, the next thing you talk about is put it in writing, have an attorney draw up, the legal stuff. I think that is really important. So speak to me a little bit about that. And I'm kind of curious, have you ever had a situation where you didn't have it in writing and it blew up in your face?
Yeah, my 20s, I did. So a few years back, right? And yeah, I had to learn the hard way. I was in the middle of a deal, a very major deal. And because I hadn't gotten that partnership with another woman, and here's another thing too, I've realized women feel like, am I being unpolite by asking for a contract? And I'm like, no. Actually, you're doing everyone a service by being really clear. And then the other step to this too is having the conversation what you really want. And really, really asking for, and it doesn't mean you're going to get it. And so I just want to say that out loud. And then finally, I want you to get a real lawyer not one that costs $500 an hour. There's some really great entrepreneur lawyers out there online. I have one, I'm sure Heather has one. And that they do this because to be of service, but they're the best. So that it's ironclad. There are little details all the way down to, what if one of the partners doesn't want to do this anymore? Can they sell it to someone else? I mean, you don't think this stuff is going to come up, but that can completely rattle your cage.
It's so true. No.
Like, what if you and I were collaborating and you're just like, yeah, I'm going to sell it to someone else. And I'm like, but I don't know them.
Yeah, no, I mean, it is so true. Having legal agreements, I think to me, it really sets the stage. It kind of sets the tone of the expectations, and there's nothing. I think a lot of times women get intimidated because maybe they're not used to using agreements or that sort of thing. But to me, it's like, if you're going to run a business, you got to have agreements. I have all my clients sign agreements, and if they're not willing to sign one, then guess what? You're not going to be my client. So
yeah, exactly. You're not going to work with this. And I also want to just throw in this side note too. A tip here is, you want to figure out who's going to cut the checks. This is a component where people forget this down the road, and then it's like, no, there should be a structural component of who's going to pay, how the taxes are going to get laid out. And I know that right now there's some people out there that are just like, want, like that Snoopy. Like, they just want to just close down right now because it all just feels like, ugh, and it's not fun. And what I do want to say about this is that collaboration is so much more fun when there is clarity behind it, and that everyone knows how it's going to rock and roll. And you know what's really fun is when the money starts rolling in.
Yes. And there's nothing wrong with money, women.
I know, please, we all need to make it. Like, it's not a dirty word. Just like bragging's not a dirty word. And this is something that I've got pushed back in my brand a little bit when I use this, especially with women. They're just like, oh, I hate this brag thing. I said, but if you don't talk about yourself and you don't spotlight yourself, how is anyone going to know how great you are? It doesn't make sense to me, you know?
It's so true. No, I love this. I love that, if we're kind of recapping what you're talking about right now, number one, leveraging your business is really a fast path to cash. Just feeling like you're supported, that you don't have to do it alone. And it really gets the message out there. I think that's really key. And, some of the things you're saying, like, don't pick the same person, someone exactly like you, because that's really key.
That will implode.
Put things in writing. Well, what about like specific types of projects? So I'm sure women right now are thinking, okay, this sounds great. Like, what are some of the different types of things that they can do? Like, I'm looking at this summit, this would be an example, but what would be some other things that you have done or that you suggest?
Okay, so evergreen products are amazing. So we just launched another online program. Those are great, right? Because then it just becomes a cycle, right? And that's something else too. You guys have to be in sync about who's going to keep everything rock and rolling. Because in a year from now, all that hard work can't just be, just feel. Workshops are amazing. I have gotten so many new backyards because of workshops, speaking opportunities, and trainings that I've done with other collaborators that had nothing to do with what I'm doing, but that was with the beauty of it. That's why they do so well.
Right.
Because people are just like, wow, we're going to get two very different sides of the coin for the price of one, as long as there's a thread.
I love that. And, another thing that I'm thinking about as this comes up, let's just say, there's different stages, I'm sure, of women that are listening to this right now. Maybe you're more kind of bootstrapping your business, so you're watching your costs, and you don't have a lot of money to allocate for like Facebook ads, or advertising. When you're collaborating, you're actually, able, of course you might have to do some graphics and that sort of thing, but it's a very low cost point of entry.
Yeah, both people do have to do the lifting.
Yes.
And here's the beauty part. This is why I love collaboration so much, is because I don't feel like it's lifting, because I don't have to worry about the stuff, again, that's not my strengths.
Yes.
That's what wipes us out. That's the stuff that entrepreneurs want to go to bed. I tell my clients that if you're getting wiped out, it's because you're doing things that are not in alignment.
Yes.
And so find someone else that loves talking. Like, let's just say this. There's a lot. One of my collaborators right now loves talking to lawyers, loves all that detail, wants all that kind of stuff. And I love creating the ads and creating all this buzz and bragging and talking about things. And so it's just been wonderful. But on the side note too, I just want to say this, is that I did have to learn the lesson the hard way again, is every once in a while, we want to get into each other's lanes, right? Because we're leaders. Like anyone that's running a company is a leader. You couldn't have a company without being have leadership. And so we were starting to get in each other's lanes, and things got all like wonky and didn't feel good. And it was like, and then things weren't fun and it wasn't interesting. And that was a good indicator. And so we had a talk and we got back in our lanes, and now everything feels light and awesome again. Right? So just be aware when we start running across in each other's lanes.
Yeah, I think that's a good point. Now, I'm just kind of curious, have you found it different working with women as opposed to men? Or do you think it's the same as far as crossing the lanes?
I actually think it depends on the man, because women to me are easier sometimes in regards to us. Like, Heather, you didn't even have to pick up the phone. You just asked and I said, I'll be there.
Right.
Okay. We have a mutual respect right away. Men do too, but it's almost like you have to decide right off the bat who's going to be the leader almost. Because just by nature, they want to get into our lane a lot or fix things and do certain things. We're not built the same. We don't, I mean, there's a ton of studies. We don't even think the same, you know?
Right.
And so, but I've had so many great experiences, especially this year with male, and especially male clients, because we established right front, like how this was going to rock.
Mm-hmm.
And it's been good. And let me tell you, the males don't mind. They're just like, hey, if you want to do that, go for it. But here's the thing too, it's got to be equal exchange.
True. Yeah, I definitely agree. Yeah. And everything you do being equal exchange. The worst thing is doing a collaboration project. And I've had this happen to me years ago where, they're not doing, their part. So if you're doing a summit like this and someone's doing, they're giving you their time doing an interview, then you've got someone like myself hiring someone doing post-production. I mean, there's so many, there's so many logistics involved. And if that person's not emailing out, then, it's not as effective. So it's not a fair exchange. So to me, it's like, if you're going to be a partner, you got to be willing to do your part. Otherwise, don't do it. Right? Yeah, exactly. That will burn both partners out really fast. And I think that there has been enough of that going on out there that some people watching this got burnt out in collaboration. Yes. But we want to encourage them to try it again. But this time, take the steps, identify what went wrong and then take different steps. That's all. I love that. I'm just so inspired, hearing you say or talk about collaboration, because this whole summit, one of the reasons why I wanted to do this is that, being, like you're saying, being a lone wolf, I do a lot of things by myself. I haven't done a collaboration project in a while. I do the interviews and that sort of thing. But what was really hitting home to me was, the changes that are taking place in our world, in our country today. And I thought, instead of complaining, I really want to create a movement for women to own their power and do this summit and tie it to a cause. As everyone knows, if you've been watching this, the cause is She Should Run. And that's about getting 250,000 women running for office by 2030. So instead of ranting on Facebook, I'm going to do this, and I'm going to get women just like you that are going to collaborate and then take some of the proceeds, if they're buying the bundle, the Fearless and Fabulous bundle, contributing that to the campaign. So like, to me, it's like the people that are buying this, they win, right? Yeah. Because they're getting expertise. And I know you contributed a product to that. So I want to talk a little bit about that. But also it's really speaking to what we can do collectively as women in the world today. I mean, that is what is mind-blowing. As challenging as what's going on today, we can't stand our power. Like we can start changing. We're doing it right now. We're doing it with the summit. So I was wondering if you could share and speak a little bit more to what's going on globally, and also a little bit about you as a contributor in the bundle. Yeah, I think
here's the thing about the lone wolf. This is set up very early, especially for women, on purpose. This is a strategy. And what it is, it's to divide us, to divide the herd. Because I know you've had this experience too, Heather. You get even 10 women into a room that are actually in alignment, that are collaborating. Whoa. You will there will mountains and brands and businesses exploding, right? So this is incorporated, I believe, globally, is to divide us very young. And as we are all coming back together right now, we're seeing this movement, your movement, and other Me Too's, and everything that's happening out there right now is to bring us back together and say, stop dividing the herd. We're not going to put up with it anymore. We're going to do this together. And so this collaboration piece, I know some women, the reason they're not doing it is they don't trust other women.
Yes. True.
And what I want to say to that is bullshit. We shouldn't trust other men sometimes. We've all had circumstances happen to us, right?
Yes.
There's always going to be a bad egg. That's just the way it works. You know what I'm saying? But on a whole, there's a whole amazing, group of apples that are phenomenal. And you want to find that, and you want to find each other. And because until we come together, we're not going to be able to change our economic background. We can't, because you cannot do it alone. And again, I want to go back to Hollywood, because a lot of people would step back and say, oh, Hollywood's just I's. And I'm like, no, Hollywood is actually we's. Because without everyone else, that you couldn't make a movie. You can't get things done. And
Right.
They showed me young how, some people are going to not be cool. But on a whole, trust is a major component to this. The package is called, that we're bundling together, is called You Are the Brand. And the reason that I felt really passionate about us doing that together, sister, is because I know your brand very well as well. And that it's all about, we're just an extension of our inner game that becomes our outer game. But there's real strategies that people can implement quickly, which you and I love. It includes my book, it includes program, this fabulous module, but everything that's inside of it is something that people can just take step by step, implement as they go along, and then just stand in their spotlight.
I love it.
And get out of the shadows, because that's another thing too. A lot of women were taught very young not to be in the shadows.
Oh, this is so great. Joie, I could be spending hours just talking to you and creating other collaborations, because you just, you have such beautiful energy, and you really want other women to succeed, and just kind of tying this all together. I think women look at other women, we could be competitive, and that is why they're not collaborating. But you're kind of bringing this full circle and saying, listen, we can't do this alone. We got to do this together. Come on, girlfriend.
Right.
Let's get together. Let's do it. And I really encourage everyone to purchase the bundle. I'm going to shamelessly plug it, because it is such a win-win for everyone, that it's just going to elevate your business and your brand if you do it, and also go to an amazing cause. I mean, I just feel so strongly. I never was involved or interested in politics until this election. And now more than ever, I'm like, we can totally change this, as challenging as it is. And it does start with us. It starts with us as collaborators, as business women, seeing ourselves as leaders, not subordinating. I could go on and on for hours. But I appreciate this conversation. It's so powerful. And I hope women that are either listening or watching, really tuning in and tapping into your ability to do something extraordinary on this planet. And Joie, I wish we could extend this conversation, but I see that we're almost out of time. I want you to share with us a little bit about, you've got a free bonus. So this isn't in the bundle. This is actually free for everyone. So what is that? And it's actually below wherever you're watching or listening.
Yeah, so it's an ebook, and it's 113 branding tips to get massive visibility out there. I love tips. I'm a total tip girl. I've always have been, I swear, since I was young.
I love it. We can all use these.
I like anything how to or tip related, but But I like these little bite sizes. And so there's 113 of them in there.
Wow.
Every single one of them I've incorporated personally into my brand. And so I really encourage everyone out there to get the gift.
I love it. That is absolutely fabulous. And that's the great thing, you know, everything that we're teaching on this summit, it's like you can implement your tips in 90 days or less. Everything that we talked about, you can create your collaboration, your idea, and then you just start implementing it. In 90 days or less, you could take off the ground running, getting partners, and then, you know, going to the ATM.
Exactly. Good. I like it.
and of course, helping people. You know, to me, it's like you got to have a value in yourself, receiving money, and also helping other people. You know,
so true.
That kind of synergy that you need. So, Joie, thank you so much for being my expert here today.
Thank you, Heather, for having me on. Thank you for getting behind this movement and collaborating and just pulling in the whole tribe, sister.
I love it. Woohoo! We can do it. Awesome. So I'm going to close this out today. Make sure that, you know, if you are thinking about doing a collaborative project, think about what your idea is. Think about what Joie has talked about, some of those strategies, some of the things, the logistics that you need to know before you even start, you know, venturing out, and to download her bonus gift, and then ask yourself, what can I do in the next 90 days or less to make it happen? Okay. So you got your homework, and I'm going to hold you accountable. Until next time, this is Heather Picken. Take care, everyone. Bye-bye. So I hope you enjoyed this masterclass. Now, my question for you is, what are you going to do in the next 90 days? I want you to take action that is aligned with your ambitious goal. You know, when I work with clients, I actually show them how to change the neuroplasticity of their brain. And part of the process is really understanding, you know, what goal, what action that I want to take is actually in alignment with my vision and mission and purpose. So you want to make sure that you have that. My other ask is to consider doing the Fearless and Fabulous Female Bundle. That is an upgrade, and it's $97. It runs throughout the summit. The reason why that's important is, number one, it's going to accelerate the rate in which you start attracting your success with some of the strategies that these experts are offering you. Number two, it's actually going to support a cause called She Should Run. As I mentioned earlier, it's about getting 250,000 women running for office by 2030. As women, we are so powerful, and I believe we're really living in an interesting time that we can change the world with our work. So again, I hope you consider the Fearless and Fabulous Bundle, and I want you to take action, okay? I'm going to be checking up on you.